Well, hello there. Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media Channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to talk about the second chapter of the epic Sergio Leone trilogy for a few dollars more on 4K from Arrow Video. So I already got a review up on the channel of a fistful of dollars on 4K from Arrow Video. If you want to go check that out, you can. It's been up for about 3 weeks now, but we've arrived to the second chapter in the Leone saga, and I'm very excited to talk about this. I have not seen this movie as much as I've seen A Fistful of Dollars, so it had been a while, probably, I guess, 3 or 4 years probably since the Kino 4K came out, honestly, that I checked this movie out. And this one just wasn't as fresh in my mind as the other one was. So yeah, getting into this one was pretty fun. So yeah, we're going to talk about the movie because I do like to talk about the movies themselves for a little bit, guys. We're going to talk about the 4K restoration, of course, how it also compares to the Kino 4K because I do have that in my possession. I watched it, like I said, a few years ago. I also kind of compared it, popped it in just to kind of compare the picture quality here. We'll talk about the sound. We'll talk about the very extensive special features here because there's more on this one than there was on A Fistful of Dollars, and I think there's even more on The Good, the Bad, the Ugly that's coming out in June. And then we'll do an unboxing, of course. We'll do the unboxing of this epic box set. And again, I'm so happy that Arrow Video gave all of these like their own like official box set like treatment and didn't just lump them all together in a box set. Like that would have been cool too. And they could have easily done that and got away with it. Nobody would have batted an eye. Nobody would have complained, I'm sure. But the fact that they gave all of these like their own individual releases, I just think makes it feel a little bit more special. And I think each movie on their own deserve this level of treatment. So again, kudos to Arrow Video. Before we get into it though, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also comment down below your thoughts on For a Few Dollars More. Did you already get this one in on 4K? Have you checked it out? Are you gonna order it? I'll be leaving links down below, guys. I think it's on Amazon UK. It's also on Orbit, Diabolic if you're in the States, but it's also on Arrow Video's website right now currently. I don't believe this had sold out. I got this off of Rareways, I think is the site, and I think they're located in the UK as well. And I ordered them all at once, and they're shipping them to me as they come out. They're a little bit later than everybody else. That's why I'm a little bit later getting to this review, but they were the cheapest price point at the time. Now, getting into the actual film itself, guys, is of course is directed by Sergio Leone, his second movie in the Dollars trilogy, starring Clint Eastwood, who would just further solidify himself as a legitimate Western star with this movie. And of course, he would carry that on through the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Clint Eastwood just turned 95. And he's still talking about making another movie. Like, that's how incredible Clint Eastwood is. What an icon. Like, maybe the greatest icon in all of, like, Hollywood history. Like, he's so great. I love Clint Eastwood so much. But he's fantastic in this movie. But what really makes this film is the addition of Lee Van Cleef as Colonel Mortimer in this movie. Like, I love the rivalry turn team up in this film. I'm a sucker for a good like rivalry and then they team up, like Rocky 3, one of my favorite Rocky movies. So I love that aspect of this film, and that's really what makes this movie to me. I love all three of these movies, guys. Love all three. My favorites, A Fistful of Dollars, which may be a little controversial because I know everybody loves The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, but to me, like, I don't know, there's that whole aspect with him teaming up with Lee Van Cleef. Like, it just really makes this one stand out. And I haven't watched The Good, the Bad, the Ugly in a while either. I may change my opinion, but I think this is my second favorite of the trilogy. I think The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is my least favorite, but keep in mind, I love all three of the movies. They're all epic masterpieces in my opinion. But this one, there's just something really fun about it. I love, again, like the bromance between Clint Eastwood, the developing bromance between Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef in this movie. It's more like a father-son relationship, even though there's like 5 years between the two of them, which I think Lee Van Cleef was like 40 in this movie, and Clint Eastwood was 35. And like he looks way older than 40. It's like I'm almost 40. I don't have the rugged like manliness that Lee Van Cleef has in this movie right here. But Yeah, I love that aspect of it. The whole scene where they're like shooting each other's hats and Lee Van Cleef is shooting Clint's hat like up in the air as it falls. He shoots it. That whole sequence is so fantastic. I love it. So in this movie, you have Eastwood, you have Cleef. They're both playing bounty hunters, and there's a bounty that goes up for the villainous character in this movie, Indio, who is played by Gian Maria Volanti, who is the same guy that plays the villain in A Fistful of Dollars, Ramon. So it's the same exact guy, but he's playing a different character, which pretty much like Eastwood is playing a different character as well. Like these are not really sequels. This is not a trilogy that's really connected like storyline wise or character wise, even though there are little minor like details and connections like you can draw between them all that would kind of indicate that everybody's playing the same character, but that's very loose. Like really, like when you're looking at it on a surface level, all the stories are different. They're not really interconnected in any way. So they're both after this guy. There's a bounty on his head, and they come together and they decide they're going to team up to take him down. And they both have, well, Cleef has more of a motivation to kill him than Eastwood does. Eastwood's motivation is money in these movies, whereas Lee Van Cleef is a little bit more personal. And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get, there are some people that kind of complained a little bit that I spoiled A Fistful of Dollars when I talked about it. I will say that I think Indio is a little bit of a better villain than Ramon is. He just feels a lot smarter. He feels like he's one step ahead of our heroes like the entire movie. And he also feels a little bit more dangerous than Ramon is. A little bit more unpredictable, kind of like a loose cannon. But I really like Indio in this film. I do think he because of his motivations, like you learn more of his backstory and his motivations. And it's kind of eerie, like the whole watch thing with the music, which is spectacular. It's Morricone's score. Obviously it's great, but that whole thing is very like eerie. Like when you start to look into his past and see what makes him tick, that just like puts him over the top even more as a villainous character. And I think he does a great job. I think that the actor does a better job at playing the villainous role in this movie, even though I love Ramon. Again, A Fistful of Dollars is my favorite. I love Ramon as a character too. But I think Indio is just a little bit more over the top, a little bit more bombastic with his approach as the villain in this, and I think it works a lot better. This movie is bigger and grander in almost every way from A Fistful of Dollars. The budget was higher in this film. Sergio Leone got another producer to do this movie that gave him a little bit more money. So he just had a little bit more leeway to do some of the things that he wanted, some of the bigger, like grander set piece moments in this film that he would do. But you got all the stuff that he would set up as far as like the cinematography, how he shoots stuff, how he portrays stuff, how he sets up certain scenes, how the actors perform, like all the hallmarks that were, started of the spaghetti Western genre that were started in A Fistful of Dollars carry over here. A lot of that's like, this feels like the perfect like evolution of that film. So getting into the 4K restoration here, guys, this is a native 4K. You got your Dolby Vision, you got your HDR10, which is different from the Kino Lorber release back in the day. This did not have HDR10 or Dolby Vision. But Arrow Video always provides nice details in their booklet. So I have that right here. If you guys want to read into all the details, you can. But I will also read and summarize real quick. For a few dollars more, has been exclusively restored by Arrow Films and is presented in its original aspect ratio of 235:1. The soundtrack is presented in restored English mono, as well as remixed English 5.1 audio. So this does have a couple of audio options. You have the original mono soundtrack, and then you also had the 5.1 as well. I listened to it on the mono, and I think the mono sounds great. They did do additional work to the sound, so this is going to sound the best that it's ever sounded before, but I can't sit here and pretend that I've heard every single version of this on home video, or that I know that much about the sound. I haven't seen this movie in the theaters or anything like that, but the sound sounded good to me. I think Arrow Video did a good job on the sound. And again, my preferred way of listening to it is with the mono. I just think it sounds a lot more natural, but sound wise, it sounds great. You hear the gunfire, the pew, 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 you hear all that. It sounds excellent. It feels like it's all around you, that Clint and everybody in the gang and, Indio's gang is just shooting you, and you got to jump and dodge the bullets. That's how immersive the sound is, guys. But the original 35mm 2-perf Technoscope camera negative was scanned and restored in 4K 16-bit resolution at El Imagine Retrovada Bologna. The film was further restored and color graded in SDR, HDR10, and Dolby Vision at Silver Salt Restoration, London. So basically, pretty much the same as for a fistful of dollars. That El Imagine Retrovada Bologna, they did these 4K scans back in 2016 or maybe 2017 for a fistful of dollars and for a few dollars more. And then Kino Lorber put out those Blu-rays. People were not happy with those Blu-rays. They thought they were a little bit oversaturated. The colors just weren't right. People just complained about those. They didn't like them. So when Kino put out the 4K of A Fistful of Dollars and for a few dollars more in 2022, they actually fixed a lot of those color issues and made it look a lot more natural. So they didn't do a new 4K scan, but they did fix a lot of those color issues that people did have problems with. So what Arrow Video did is they took that 4K and some of the work that Kino did with some of the colors, and they added, well, they did some additional, restoration work as well as what was said in the booklet, but they added the HDR and the Dolby Vision. And look, I think the Kino 4K looks really good. Pretty much the same as I said on Fistful of Dollars, guys. The Kino 4K looks good. There's really nothing wrong with it. I think it looks very natural. I think it's incredibly detailed, and I think it looks fantastic. But if you want to go that extra mile, you maybe want to get this Arrow Video release, because I do think with the Dolby Vision and the HDR10, it does enhance some of those colors. It does make things look a little bit more vibrant. But there are people that would argue it doesn't need to look that way. I don't need for a few dollars more to look more vibrant, look more colorful, look more lush. I don't need that out of this movie. I want it to look more like it was originally intended. And I do think that the Kino 4K does provide a little bit more of that natural look. But what I will say about the Arrow Video 4K is the same as A Fistful of Dollars. I think some of the nighttime scenes look a lot better because with the HDR and the Dolby Vision, some of those black levels just come off a little bit better. The contrast a little bit better. You can make out more of the details between the lights and the blacks in the darkness when you got some of those darker sequences. And so I think that stuff looks a lot better on the Arrow Video release versus the Kino Lorber release. But again, same as what I said before, they're both incredibly detailed. They both look really good. Now there's going to be people that say the Arrow Video Edition blows the Kino Lorber Edition out of the water. And maybe it does for some people. Maybe it does. We all got different setups. I've got an OLED TV C2. I've got my settings set to filmmaker mode. So I feel like I'm watching these the best way that I possibly can. And to me, the Kino 4K looks really good and the Arrow 4K looks really good. But again, with the Dolby Vision HDR, if you like that aesthetic, if you like that application, if you're somebody that needs that, you may want to get the Arrow Video version. I do think that the HDR and the Dolby Vision does deliver to an extent on for a few dollars more. So that's pretty much it. Again, it's all opinion, guys. I think at the end of the day, 4K is one of the most subjective formats, and everybody's got so many different opinions. That's why, like, you can look down the comment section, you'll probably see a variety of different opinions. My Kino looked great. The Arrow 4K blows the Kino out of the water. Like, people are going to say all kinds of different things, and it's because I think 4K is so incredibly subjective. But if you didn't see the Kino 4K and you're just getting this on 4K for the first time, this looks spectacular. It does. It looks very natural, and it looks great. Now, getting into the unboxing here, guys. Spectacular work by Arrow Video. Just fantastic. I love it so much. Again, I'm so happy they decided to give these the box set treatment. I'll show you the back right there with the synopsis and all the details, special features, which we'll get into here in a second. You got the specs down there at the bottom, but you take it out. This is a slipcover on top of a box set, guys. Oh my God. And then you look on the back and you got NDO, you got Lee Van Cleef, you got some of the soldiers down there, or not soldiers, but gang members down there at the bottom. You got the safe up here, which they robbed. This is kind of a heist movie as well, which is another cool aspect of the movie. You got the casting list at the bottom. So you take all this stuff out. You got the booklet, which we just showed off, which has great artwork on it too. And all this artwork is just fantastic. It's just freaking fantastic. So I'll kind of just flip through this a little bit. And right here, we got the case. You got the 4K case. This is the original poster. On the back, again, you got all the same details and everything. On the inside, You have the 4K, which is the feature film, and then you have the Blu-ray. This is very important, guys. You have the Blu-ray that just houses these special features. You cannot watch a Blu-ray of for a few dollars more in this set. The movie is not on the Blu-ray disc. It is only the special features. And if you're in the US and you do not have a region-free player, this is very important because I think that people are buying this that don't have a region-free player, and then they're surprised when they can't watch the special features. If you don't have a region-free player, you will not be able to play the special features disc. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're in the UK, you're good because you're in that region. But if you're in the US or if you're anywhere else that is not region B, you will not be able to play this special features disc, this Blu-ray disc right here. So you have to know that. I talked about that on the last one. It'll be the same on the Good, the Bad, the Ugly as well. All right, so right here, guys, you got the 4K, you got the Blu-ray. I got a card on the inside. I think this is it. I don't think they added any extra stuff on the inside. And then you flip this right here, and this is some more newly commissioned artwork on the inside as well, which is super awesome. I love that Wanted poster of Indio right there. I think that's super cool how they kind of work that into the artwork. Then you've got a poster right here, guys, which has the newly commissioned artwork, and then you got the old theatrical poster as well, which is really cool. Getting into the special features, there are some extensive features here. There are audio commentaries, but I don't believe that there are new audio commentaries. I think they took the 2 audio commentaries that are on the Kino version, and those are available here. So you have the commentary by Tim Lucas and then Sir Christopher Frayling. And that has the commentary with Sir Christopher Frayling. And also, yes, there it is. Audio commentary by film historian and critic Tim Lucas and Sir Christopher Frayling. So the same commentaries that are on the Kino are on this. They didn't add any new audio commentaries to this. But what they did add was pretty substantial. You got 8 new special features and interviews here. You got a Violent Tale of Vengeance, a newly filmed interview with film historian and critic Fabio Maleli. I think is how you pronounce that, but I'm probably wrong. He did a special feature on A Fistful of Dollars. It was a great feature, but he's pretty much just like a spaghetti Western historian. Like, he knows his crap, like he knows all this stuff. So he's always kind of a treat to listen to about these movies. Now, keep in mind that that is subtitled because he's Italian. Then you got No One Shoots at the Colonel, a newly filmed interview of filmmaker and Lee Van Cleef biographer Mike Malloy, which is a great feature. I highly recommend this feature. It's in English, but it's him just talking about the career of Lee Van Cleef and how he was pretty much like done. Like, his movie career was over until Leone got him to be in this movie, and that kind of led to a Van Cleef resurgence. So that's a really good interview on here as well. Then you got Crafting the West, a newly filmed interview with Giotto Simi, daughter of set costume designer Carlo Simi. Then you got Cuts and Rhythm, a newly filmed interview with editor Eugenio Alabasio. Western Strings, a newly filmed interview with guitarist Bruno Battista Di Amaro. Timeless Voice, a newly filmed interview with singer Edda Del Orso. For a Few Notes More, a newly filmed interview with Morricone biographer Alexandro Di Rosa. New visual essay exploring the film's iconic soundtrack by musician and disc collector Lovely John. So just like A Fistful of Dollars, a lot of these features are really like music and score oriented. But the addition of that Van Cleef interview was really cool because there was nothing like that on Fistful. So I did think that was great. But yeah, 8 new features and interviews here. And I think Fistful had 6. So there was a couple extra here. And there's even more on Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So I'm going to have to dig into a lot of stuff. Like, digging into all this, guys, like, this is why it takes me so long to get these reviews out. It takes a lot of time to get into all the features for these releases. And then you got past archival stuff. And I think all the archival stuff, I want to say, was on this Kino release as well, except for May, because I'm not seeing it. But there's a career-spanning hour-long interview with Sergio Leone, never released in full before, filmed by Large Door Productions in 1983. So that's an hour-long interview with Sergio Leone. And that's from 1983. And I'm looking on here, guys. I don't think, I'm not seeing it, not on the back. So I don't think that was on the Kino release. I think that is new to this release right here. Loads of archival stuff, guys. Again, a lot of this stuff I think was on the Kino Lover release. But this thing is just jam-packed, fully loaded. Just keep in mind you can't watch these features if you don't have a region-free player. So that is one important thing to know. But there you have it, guys. That's my review. Arrow did it again. They did it again for a few dollars more. I thought this was a fantastic 4K release, fantastic 4K box set. I cannot wait to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. That should be coming out in a few weeks. So yeah, just cannot wait for that. Thank you all so much for watching my review of this, though. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.